incredibly powerful and growing. The prediction is to grow from 1 billion to 2 billion over the next 5 years, and then some. So it's just incredibly rich and diverse. And if we look at it from our standpoint, you see it show up in a variety of industries. Manufacturing, building a car, in basically under 80 minutes, doing it all with robots. In medical, from dispensing of medicine to being able to provide information to doctors. Point of sale systems, you see them all over. There's a large number of vertical industries that take advantage of this technology. There's two others I thought I'd highlight since the timing's good for that, so I'm going to click on this. Why don't we head over here? This week, Ford announced that they're bringing the new focus in sync technology to Taiwan. They've sold 4 million of these cars with sync in it today, and they actually use embedded technology, the sync system, as a differentiator. Right? The ability to have access to and control with your voice the navigation system, the radio system, the ability to use, obviously, the phone or Bluetooth to the phone, the ability to have all the information there in one area. That is a differentiator that they use in marketing. They think they'll sell another 9 million sync-based systems, including China and Taiwan, over the next couple of years. This week they announced bringing this car to Taiwan with both Mandarin and English. So it's a really good example of an embedded system that people won't think about relative to Windows, but it is a Windows-based device that's in these cars that shows up sort of behind the scenes that helps Ford, in this case, differentiate their vehicles. Another one that I thought I'd show, it's a very different class. This is a digital sign. Digital signage is a big area, right? Whether it's looking at a menu on a restaurant when you're doing a drive-through in at least in North America, where we have lots of those, or if you're looking at stadiums or other places, the ability to have information on a digital sign is interesting. This is a unique one that we just got lent to us, thankfully, from our friends at LG, and this is actually sort of a shadow box. So inside we have some information on some art outside, and inside we have this translucent screen so that we can see through and see what's in the shadow box. And this is actually a live digital sign. You can see there's information on the screen. I can touch it at any point to move out of the video. And now we have an advertisement running, in this case for a shoe. And as this sort of flows through, we'll see in a second that they can go back and forth between both translucency, which means I can see in so I can have some shoes hanging here, but also it's a very rich touch interactive system, taking advantage of touch technologies, which obviously is sort of a big conversation at the show today. I'm getting information, I have the ability to interact, plus I have this unique shadow box effect, or this sort of translucency at the same time. So again, good innovation. It's a great opportunity for both the end user to have a rich experience and for whoever's building or designing the information. And all of these embedded technologies, whether it's, again, in the digital signage area or manufacturing, they're all providing information back into services, back into the cloud. We're able to provide richer experiences to the end users based on the information provided back. And we're also able to mine or have access to a very rich set of information, I'll call it, from the edges. Now, we've been very committed to Windows Embedded for 15 plus years now, and we will continue to drive it forward. Embedded is essentially taking our platform technology, think of Windows 8 as an example, and building a componentized version for special function devices. We have a compact version, which is used more for industrial devices and devices that have less UI, but we're also taking Windows 8 and creating a componentized version or an embedded version that our partners can use for building the rich set of devices. Now, why do people choose Windows for their embedded technology? Well, if you think about the richness of this ecosystem, from the component and the IHV side to the software side of development, if you want to build an embedded device quickly and have speed to market and take advantage of all the technology that's out there, Windows is by far the easiest platform to build on. And that's what we hear from our partners over and over again. And so I'm very happy to announce today that we're releasing the next customer technology preview of Windows 8 Embedded, the standard edition. We put in more capabilities. We're starting to build Metro style applications, which will be used in the embedded space. We've started to build in more controls for creating that single purpose or that single function device. We've made a lot of upgrades. So we are driving towards the next generation of Windows 8 Embedded to power those billion devices in all of these industries. And we're happy at Computex to announce the next customer technology preview release of that. So more information is available on the web and in the booth, and there's obviously a lot more examples of what you can do with it there as well. So we sort of covered I'll say the non-consumer side of things. We talked about the server side, we talked about embedded. I want to spend just a few minutes on phones. You know, phones is an area where we are not at our next milestone, so there's not too much new news to talk about here. I do want to recognize that our partners continue to build innovative platforms. The Nokia phones, we have 4 of them, Samsung, HTC, LG, Acer, Fujitsu. If I go to the back wall here, you can see all of the phones laid out. And we'll continue to see innovation in this space. One of the areas that we work on, of course, is driving or working with our partners on the application ecosystem. We're up to about 88,000 applications in the store today and continuing to grow. But another area that we've been working on is our own services. And one of the things that Microsoft invested is building a set of customer experiences or services that build on top of the platform to show what's possible. I was just going to do one quick example from Bing. I have a translator application here. Let me let them zoom in on it. And so what the translator application allows me to do is I can speak into the phone, obviously, and do translation, but I can also use the camera. And so what I have here is a menu. So I'm just going to hold this up in front of the menu. Give it a second. And it's translating it, shrimp dumplings, green onion pie. I'm not sure what the second one is. I have a shadow there with my hand. Rainbow meat dumplings, green onion, red meat cake, etc. That's a pretty handy tool. It's the person who travels to Taiwan and China often. I can tell you I'm not capable of reading that menu yet, but maybe I should be. But having this type of technology is one of the areas where Microsoft is investing, using that machine learning, using that capability in the cloud and the technology we have, and then bringing it to life in a very useful customer experience. Now, we work on a variety of experiences at Microsoft for the end user to take advantage of the platform. Bing is one area. We do things in productivity with things like Office. For Office, I can run both on the phone and on the PC. Things like voice over IP, so Skype on the phone, Skype on the PC with video, the same with Link. I wanted to have my colleague, Ryan Astorian, come out and show us a new one. At E3 this week, which is the entertainment show, we showed off a new media or entertainment scenario that allows people to see what's possible with entertainment across multiple screens. So Ryan's going to come out and give us a sample of some new technologies we worked on, or a new experience that bridges phone, PC/tablet, and TV through the Xbox. So Ryan, welcome.
Great, thank
you.
All right, so I'm going to take you through a quick entertainment scenario that really shows how I bridge a lot of my favorite devices. Over here, I've got my Windows 8 tablet. It's logged in with my account in the US. And what I'm going to do here is just kind of show, I'm going to open up this video right here. I'm going to go ahead and start playing it. Now, that starts to play up on that screen over there. The other thing that I want to show is here, I've actually got my Xbox. And I'm going to go ahead and load my Xbox. It's on the screen right here. We're going to load that up on these two screens so you can follow along. I've got my tablet right here, and I've got some controls that I can do from right here to the side with that. Now, one of them allows me to play on Xbox. I'm going to go ahead and hit play on Xbox. What that actually does is it stops my video and pauses my video where it is. And it knows, because it's talking to the cloud, where in my video I am. It's going to send that directly to my Xbox. So it's actually talking to my Xbox right now, saying this down. Now, this is a great scenario where if I'm walking around with my tablet, using it around my house, and I want to sit down and, on my couch, enjoy it where I have surround sound, I can actually just kind of throw that content to my Xbox. And what it'll do is, it'll understand where I was in that actual video and start it on my Xbox directly in the same place. Not only that, now my tablet actually tells me what content I'm watching. I get that rich experience. And you see on my Xbox, it's actually started to play that video directly from where I left off. Now, I also have my Windows Phone over here. I've got this right here. Now, we'll go ahead and put this up on the screen. Let me adjust right here. Sorry. There we go. So, I'm going to go ahead and launch my Xbox Companion app. Now, what this allows me to do is get my phone also talking directly to my Xbox. So it goes ahead and it starts connecting to this. This is going to allow me to really have some of those same rich controls that I have on my phone that I also showed you on my tablet. And so once this connects, it'll allow me to go ahead and I'm going to be able to pause the video. I'm going to be able to sit on my couch and actually have some control right here. Now, this is taking a little bit to load. We'll wait for there's a lot of people connecting to Wi-Fi, so hopefully this will connect in just a second. But one of the things it allows me to do is not only pause it, but I'm actually also able to control other parts of my Xbox. So, there we go. So now you can see this. I'm going to go ahead on the bottom, I hit pause, and notice that it paused right there. I go ahead and hit play, and it's going to start playing this again. And I have some links right here, right on the screen. So some of my favorite content, I love playing Kinect Sports. And so what I can do is I can actually control that directly from my phone. So I hit that, and I can also use my phone as a controller. So what you see now on the Xbox is pause that movie, where I stop, it's talking to the cloud, it knows where I am in that movie. And I can actually go ahead and use this as a controller. I'm going to go ahead, hit play now, and this is now fully controlling my Xbox. Now, what's also happened in the background is I had my tablet with a lot of information on it. That's actually changed as well. You'll see that it actually says Xbox dashboard right now. I've switched to the Xbox. But as it starts to load a lot of this content, whatever content I'm in, it allows all my screens to talk to each other. I'm using it on my phone to control it. I'm getting that game loaded up on my Xbox. And now you see on my tablet, it actually gives me the information about Kinect Sports Season 2, which of course, I can play on my Xbox using Kinect, get a little bit of exercise, have a lot of fun. So this is a little bit of how all these screens talk to each other constantly, no matter what I'm doing, and really allows me to bring entertainment to all of my favorite devices. Thank you.
Good hand for Ryan. I thought that was a great job. Thank you, Ryan. Building the services that bridge the devices is an area of focus I know across the community. We'll do some, our partners will do many, and again, that ability to use the platforms to create these really rich interactive experiences for end users that are truly seamless is the direction we're going in. When we think about that convergence of ecosystems, this is one of the positive outcomes of the experiences we can deliver. We'll switch gears a little bit right now, and I'm going to go talk a little bit about hardware and components as we head into the Windows 8 and PC discussion. I think one of the things that's always important to both remember and recognize is before we can get to PCs, we have to have great components. And in Taiwan or in the region overall, we have tremendous partners building very innovative capabilities. Whether we're looking at components, whether it's chips and what we can do with system on a chip now and chips in general, whether it's memory and storage and optical drives and how they continue to reduce in size and power utilization, whether it's materials, everything from sort of new metals to glass to polymers to all different types of materials. We continue to have the ability to have both diversity of choice, but also thinner, lighter, longer battery life, all the things necessary to drive forward. Glass is an incredible area of innovation. Corning's been kind enough to lend me a couple pieces of curved glass here. I have a small one and a large one, and they actually lent me a roll of glass. So this is the level we can get to in terms of glass creation today. This is a thin roll. You can actually get rolls that are essentially 8 or 10 feet wide. Huge rolls that you can pull out. This is incredibly thin. I'm not going to roll it out because you actually should do that with the right machines and robots. Otherwise, as humans, we tend to not do a very good job. But it's incredible the innovation that's going on in this particular area. And I think over time what we'll see is new shapes, the flexibility that we're getting from the glass, the ability to take this as glass and bend it. These huge angles. You can imagine the types of consumer devices you can build and or the very large screens we'll be able to create that people can interact with, that can be used for touch, that can be used for devices. So incredible technology. Another area that I find interesting that people may not think about as much is the notion of hinges, right? How do you make a computer open or close? How do you use that? And I have some samples here from some of our local ODM partners. This one is from Wistron. And what's interesting here is if you want to talk about touch in a big conversation at the show, well, when you open a laptop, you need the ability to push on it without having to move. And so here you see a hinge design that, cantilevers and locks at the back, so that as I push on it, this doesn't go anywhere. I have another design up here from Compal that does it in a different way. It uses a different mechanism, so when I get to the top, it locks. So that notion of building hinges, while not something that I would say is hugely romantic or people spend a lot of energy on, is incredibly important. So as we move towards PCs and what we're building, we have to remember and recognize the component technology and both appreciate it and know that it continues to move forward. Now, two other things I want to show is sort of the marriage of hardware and software, but from a technology perspective. This is a demonstration that our friends at Sharp have lent us. This is a high-resolution screen, but what they've been working on is improving capacitive touch. Right, so removing the background noise, making it higher fidelity. So in this case, normally I would have a stylus. Right? If we want to write on a computer, we grab our stylus, we go write it. If you lose your stylus, you gotta go find one because it doesn't work otherwise. This is just a normal lead pencil, right? I can, write on the paper right here. It's just a normal pencil. But given what they've done with this device, I can actually take it and write on this sharp monitor, and it's very smooth, very fluid. All right, it's very thin. This is very cool. My writing's not very nice, but the